Yo, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another story time episode. It's your boy Cupcake Smash coming back to you live with another life story. Alright, so in this one, guys, we're taking it back to middle school. I'm talking 2013, back when I was in 8th grade. And this story takes place after school. It wasn't during normal school hours, but back then, I had band class. Yes, I was a band kid. I used to play the flute. You can give me shit down in the comments for it. Because back then, you were either in band or you weren't in band. You know what I mean? Band kids are like a whole nother type of breed. So, being in band, what they would often do is you were allowed to stay an hour, maybe 2 hours until your parent came to pick you up in the car loop. You guys remember the car loop. We're talking about middle school, you guys. All right? So, it was one of those days, and I wasn't by myself. I was hanging out with my friend Mark, and we're going to call him Mark for the sake of the video. I'm not going to disclose names. But it was me and my boy Mark, and it's about, school let out half an hour ago. We're chilling, we're vibing in the music room, in the band room, I would say. The band room was where all the band kids would stay after school and practice and work on their instruments and whatever they had to do. But also, the band room was connected towards the cafeteria. And in the cafeteria, on this day, there was drama practice. So the drama kids were there. There were band kids there. Either way, we had a whole reason to stay, right? So we're chilling. It's after school. Me and Mark were planning to stay for at least an hour, right? So we hang out in the band room. We kicking the shit. We hang out with the drama kids backstage while they're practicing and rehearsing their lines. At some point, we start roaming the school. There's nobody there. There's no security. We're just two middle school kids strolling along the campus, right? And there's the basketball court. There's the bleachers. We're just yelling things, hearing the echo, having a good little time, like having the whole gym to ourselves. It was kind of cool, And we walk through the gym, we get to the locker rooms, and usually they would lock the doors individually, but hey, on this day, they were unlocked. So we go into the boys' locker room, and we go in there, we're just looking at shit. Nothing really new about the locker room, We see this all the time when we go to PE. But we also decided, hey, let's check out the girls' locker room. And even though it was technically identical, when we walked into this locker room, the girls' locker room, we felt dirty. Like we felt like we weren't supposed to be in there because we weren't. I don't think any other student at this point has gone into the girls' locker room, into the boys' locker room, into the gym after school. We felt like we were the baddest kids on earth. So we're messing around in the girls' locker room thinking how badass we are. Once we realize there's not too many things different, that girls are disgusting too and boys are just as gross, we step out. And there was this, I wouldn't call it a storage closet, but I'd call it a storage room, right? In the storage room, that's where they kept the towels, the cheerleaders' clothing, and the uniforms for the teams, the basketball teams and whatnot. And the door to that was locked. But there was this laundry chute which connected into the room. And the laundry chute was big enough to fit a person. And ladies and gentlemen, I think you know what we decided to do. So Mark looks at me and I look back at him, and we're thinking the same thing. So I go in first. I jump in head first. I just dive into the laundry chute. And it's only a couple feet into the room, right? So I go in and I land in the bin, no problem. I'm inside. And I'm waiting for Mark to come in. While he's trying to get himself in there, I notice in the middle of the room, there is a fire extinguisher. At this point, I'm thinking in my head, there's nothing that could go wrong. We might as well go full on. We were thinking about, we should do a prank. We should do something while we're in here. I'm holding up the fire extinguisher. Somehow it ends up in my hand. Mark is in the middle of the chute. Like, I'm talking halfway through the chute. His front end of his body is in there while his legs are sticking out. And this is important. I don't know why he was taking so long to get through the chute, but we had enough time to have a conversation, right? As I'm holding the fire extinguisher, we're talking, and he doesn't believe that I would pull it or that I would have the balls to pull it, right? So in my mind, I'm totally ready to blast it, even though he thinks that I'm not, right? So there's something about him telling me that I won't do it that made me want to do it. So, guys, let me paint the picture for you. Mark is halfway in this chute, and we're having a conversation, right? I'm holding this fire extinguisher. He tells me I can't do it. That is when, ladies and gentlemen, I put my balls down, right? And I pull the pin. Once the pin is pulled, I knew there was no going back. I pulled this pin, and this was kind of a dick move on my part, but I remember full force I sent it. I shoot this fire extinguisher all over the room, and I'm spraying. I'm getting every inch of this room coated in this foam. And this room, mind you, was no bigger than, I would say, the school bathroom, right? It was much bigger than a closet, but smaller than a bedroom. So there wasn't much for this smoke to go. We coated everything, and it was just a haze. And I feel so bad for this, but Mark, I covered his half of his body in this ash. And he's coughing, and I'm spraying, and we're laughing, and I'm just shooting off this gas, right? And eventually, it runs out. It goes on empty. As soon as that happens, I put it on the floor, and I run through the door, and I see Mark getting out. Half of his body was dust, and the other half was clean. So it was kind of funny to me. But as soon as that happened, we sprinted out of the locker room, sprinted out of the gym, and ran our ass right back into the band room where it looked like nothing happened. Mark goes off into the bathroom, he cleans himself off, and he walks out looking like, as I said, nothing happened. And me and Mark, we chill, and we wait in the bathroom. Nobody even noticed that we left, which was kind of odd. But we wait there until our parents pick us up. You know, no big deal. Once they pick us up, we head home, and it's just business as usual. Nothing happens. Well, later on that weekend, that same weekend, I believe it was a Friday when we did this. So it was probably like the next day. And I remember I was playing video games. I was playing 360, right? When my mom yells, and I hear it from her bedroom. She goes, "Kenny, get your ass in here." I get in my room. She's already yelling at me. And the first things that comes out of her mouth is, "The principal called. She says you're suspended. What did you do with a fire extinguisher?" Right? And I'm sitting there, and my heart just sank because I knew what I did wrong. I explained to her. I said, "Hey, I set off the fire extinguisher in the room." And explaining to my mom the story wasn't even the bad part. The bad part was I had to talk to the principal, and the principal showed me the footage of us going into the gym, footage of us leaving the gym. So they put two and two together and realized that we were the ones that set off the fire extinguisher. The principal then explains to me the damage that I caused. I didn't think about this in the moment, of course, but she tells me that I destroyed all of the cheerleaders' uniforms for that season, and they had to replace new ones, which I felt kind of bad for after the fact. She also said I'm suspended and that I wasn't allowed to go on the end of the year field trip for the 8th graders that they had every year. Also, I wasn't allowed to go to the dance. So I was a little bummed out. But hey, when it actually came down to it, guys, I didn't go on the school field trip, but I somehow convinced the principal to allow me and Mark to go to the school dance because she didn't want us to miss that. Maybe it was a combination of her feeling sorry for us, and she knew that we were good kids at heart. We just did a couple fucked up things, you know? Anyways, guys, that was the time where I set off the fire extinguisher at school. And believe me, I paid the price. Thank you so much for listening to this life story. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and please share and subscribe to the channel. It really does help a lot, you guys. Anyways, this has been Cupcake Smash, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.